Nathan, I wasn't sure. Do you want to say anything before we get into things?
Yeah, I'll quickly start. I mean, I'm hoping we'll
I
probably
don't know
have
if we need to. Yeah, there might be a few more people that come in.
Yeah, so I guess biggest thing from us guys is thanks for joining us tonight. Obviously, there's quite a bit of change going on in the basketball world at the moment, and this is something that obviously most of you will probably know we were looking at doing before all of this kind of thing had transpired, but extra time to really get the product and the system to exactly where we needed it to be able to facilitate it for all of our teams. And yeah, I guess the biggest thing is that we know that there will be potential questions and lots of things when we do get back and you do come in. But again, I guess this session is just to make that as smooth and seamless as possible for you all. As I said, there will be this recording saved on the website later on as well. So if you do need to go back to it at any time, but we're also making sure all of our customer service staff are going to be trained quite well in it all. So that if you do have any questions on the day before a game or anything like that, because you need help making that payment, be able to make sure that it is nice and smooth for everyone.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we've got, I would say, probably majority of the people. So maybe in the interest of everyone's time, we can get into it. I'm aware that we've got all of you team managers of either independent teams or affiliated with the club. You can just do head nods or, yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So what we're gonna, we've been working with the team at Mornington since sort of December. I've been discussing the introduction of Teammo. Thanks for thumbs up. So I've got the chat window open as well. So if you do want to type anything, just do that. Yeah, so we've been talking with Mornington for the last sort of 6-7 months. We've implemented a bunch of new features that Nathan sort of referred to, particularly around the uniqueness of the junior competition for Mornington in terms of variable payments. So you've got your regular player fee versus your fill-in fee. So we've added a bunch of those features over the last couple of months, and it's ready to go basically whenever sport starts up again within Mornington. So there's a few things. I'm going to share my screen. Just let me know if you're unable to see anything. But hopefully this all works. I might flick between a couple of windows tonight just to be able to show you a few different things. But we're really excited to and thank Mornington for partnering with us. And the idea around Teammo is to really help local sport, and that includes obviously players, teams, clubs, associations, to go cashless. And it's a funny time over the last few months with kind of, I guess, sport stopping, but it's really shown us the need to create these kind of tools moving forward, particularly given the current health climate. So can everyone see this Google Doc just with a list of 6 things? Awesome. This is what we wanted to cover tonight in terms of the likely scenarios or the ways that you're going to need to be able to use Teammo week to week for your teams. So we'll go through each of these. I guess the main 3 that are really critical for you to be aware of is how to create an account, how to make match payments, so that's paying for your regular players and your fill-in players, and then how forfeits are submitted are sort of the top 3. We'll also talk about, I'm sure there's probably team managers that might be managing multiple teams, so you can create those within your account, so we'll go through that. And lastly, we'll show you how you can collect money from your team members or parents, I suppose in your case, if you want to, but you don't have to. Does that make sense? I'll see if I can get the chat window. I can't see the chat window anymore, Andrew, but if there's any questions or if anyone wants to say anything now that we haven't covered that you want us to cover, and we can go back to this.
All good. I'll have a look at the chat. So if anyone wants to talk to me whilst Sarah's talking, I'm used to talking over her a little bit, so I'll be in there. Cool.
Awesome.
No one so far.
Cool. Awesome. What we'll do is I'll go through each one by one, and then at the end of sort of that demo, it's pretty straightforward, hopefully, for everyone. At the end of each of these scenarios, I'll sort of pause and you can ask as many questions as you want to, and we'll go through that way. But let's start with creating an account. I might just share another screen in a second, sorry. Apologies, just trying to get the right ones. I've tried to set up everything so it's quick.
So just to add while Sarah's setting that up, what you'll see is Sarah's in a desktop browser here with a bit size to a mobile. We expect most people will use this on their mobile phone. It's just a lot easier to show it on a Zoom call via a browser.
Let me. Cool. So to create an account, some of you may have seen this page. I think Mornington have linked to it in Facebook, maybe on email and Teammo. This is just a landing page that we've got that we're going to keep up to date as regular, as things change, with information on how to create an account. There's a video here, I think it's about 1 minute and 40 seconds, which basically goes through what I'm going to go through tonight. So you can kind of refer back to that. It's a bit quicker. Then it's just information on how to make payments, submitting forfeits, all the stuff we're going to cover, how to create an account. So this page is going to have information. We'll update it as the weeks of the next few weeks. It has some FAQs, but we'll kind of cover all that tonight. The reason I wanted to show it is there is a link to create an account, but you can access it through teammo.com.au as well. But if I go create an account, can everyone see this window? And it has signing up is easy. Yep. I'll show you what it looks like mobile view. So I've just scaled down the window. So the way to access Teammo is through a website browser. So you can either be on your computer or laptop or iPad or mobile. So it works across all. So you can kind of see how it scales down. I'll just set up a team as a fake team. So we'll call them dribblers. This is the steps that you'll take. So when you need to, you can create an account now. We have loaded in some Mornington data, but the way that this system works and how you'll be able to see your payments is once we have all the finalized registration data for teams, if that makes sense. So you can create an account now and connect to Mornington later. It's not a big issue, but I'll just chuck in this information. So you put in your email address if you're a team manager. I'm making up an email here. Can't spell correctly. Oh, stage fright. Put in a mobile number and enter a password. You'll then, I'm just getting my mobile up so I don't have to just change screens. You then get a code sent to the email address that you put in, and you just put that number in here. Cool. Then you'll see step 4. This step is optional at this point. So if you can't find your team, we have loaded some teams. I don't know if they all should, yeah, most teams should be in based on registration data from the last, Nathan might be able to answer this maybe from like 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. So it's not going to have all your teams in here yet.
Yeah. It will be all of the teams that were kind of loaded in and where they were loaded for a winter season. So yep. Obviously now, as we've spoken about, some teams will have moved up an age group. So you may not show in the right one yet, but we will have all the data.
Yeah. So Mornington will let you know as soon as we've updated. We'll basically get the data from Mornington, put it into our system, and then you'll be able to do this. So for the sake of this, I'll just skip just so you can see what it looks like. You don't have to complete this step to be able to create an account. Skip. This is what the dashboard looks like. I'll show you what once you've created an account. If you can see this view, hopefully it's expanded to desktop. So that's what it looks like on if you're on your computer. I'll stay in the mobile view. Basically, once I've done that, I haven't connected to any association. So there's no pay. I'm not going to see any payments for matches and stuff like that. You're not going to be able to really do anything in terms of paying anything to Mornington unless you've connected. So everything, there'll be a banner here. There's a banner here that says connect now. And things like matches will be grayed out until you do that. So you can't really get it wrong in terms of you can't pay for matches basically until you connect your team. So let's just I'll show you what that looks like as an example. If you were to create an account now, we've just got a dummy league here that I'll show you, but we'll just select junior competition. We'll select League 1. You'll see a number of teams here. We'll go dribblers because that was the team I put in. Confirm. And these fees are obviously a lot lower than what you'll be paying here. This is for demo, but this just shows you sort of the forfeit walkover fees that you'd be charged. You can go back just on that. So that's, I guess, the creation of the account. So there's 4 steps that I just showed you. And then the connecting to the association, this is what I just showed you here, is the most critical step in that as soon as once you've done that, you'll be able to see matches like this. And this will be based on the fixture data that you'll be obtaining yourself from Play HQ. We get that same data. So as soon as you've connected to your association, or Mornington in this case, you'll be able to see these matches and make payments and submit forfeits. Until you connect, there's not much else you can really do at this stage. So until we get fixture data, and that's obviously dependent on when dates of when basketball's coming back at Mornington, until then, we won't really have any information, or games you won't have to pay for at this stage. Is there any questions on the account setup? It's pretty straightforward with those 4 steps. Hopefully that was straightforward enough anyway.
Cool. I think we can move on. If anyone thinks of any questions, just put it in the chat as well. Oh, here we go. Cindy's question is, do team members deposit money into the account? So I can sort of answer that question to start with. Sarah will cover that question more specifically in one of the later examples. But the matches that you see on that screen are essentially the payments that will go directly to the organisation. So we'll promise you we'll come back to that question shortly, Cindy. But no, not at this stage. Stephanie's question is, what if you have 4 teams? If you have 4 teams, good luck. It's a lot of work. But if you do have 4 teams, we have the ability to have multiple teams in our system. So Sarah is showing that here. So if you actually go back a step, Sarah, just
sorry.
You've done this 1,000 times before, but a lot of people get that one. So if you click that button, so you click your team name, you can actually have more than 1 team. So you can create 4 teams. And each of those teams will have a different connection to the organisation. But yeah, that's how it works at the moment. And any feedback on that would be fantastic. I've never heard of a team manager with 4 teams. The next question is, Kylie, can a club set up an account rather than individual teams? Yes. In some cases, clubs might want to manage, say, 10 teams or so, or whatever number of teams it is. And again, you could sort of manage it like this and have multiple teams in the same view. So yeah, that's not a problem. But yeah, there might be other questions around that we won't cover yet. And do we wait until summer teams are correctly put into age groups before setting up the app? That's from Amber. So I would say yes is okay. Like it's good to wait until you don't need to get in there until that the fixtures are set up and Mornington will send out a notification. However, it doesn't matter if you've already set up an account. And I'm sure a few people tonight have already set up an account whilst we've been on the call. It's not a problem at all, because when the fixtures come around, those connections will be updated if you've already connected a team. And if not, you can always change that team connection. So you're not stuck in a situation there at all.
You can, it's pretty quick. If you accidentally select the wrong team, you can just press that edit button, change your connection, and you're ready to go. So that's, easy to do.
And Jabin, I think that's how you pronounce your name, sorry. The question is, will there be someone at the club to offer assistance to the computer illiterate? This is a great question, because we get it wrong sometimes as well. The best thing you can do if you've got issues with our service at all is there's a little icon on the bottom right of the screen with a little chat box. I promise you we're really helpful. So after this call's finished and you guys in 3 weeks time open up the app again and go, oh my God, I can't remember anything that we were sort of shown, you can just message us there if needed. If it's something we can't answer and it's really something more that Mornington or I don't know, someone else in the club can help with, we'll be really hopefully transparent where we can help and where we can't help.
Yeah. So if you see this little it's a little green icon that Andrew just mentioned. If you click on that, you can start a conversation with us. This says we'll be back tomorrow. As soon as we get a notification instantly. So typically we'll be on to this straight away and we'll be able to answer any questions that you have. As Andrew said, if it's something that's more related to Mornington, we can get in touch with Mornington as well, or you can go direct. But most of the time you can just go chat to us and we'll get back to you.
Got some other great questions. These are awesome questions, by the way. So just to reiterate, every question that we answer here, this is obviously being recorded. but we'll also answer a lot of these common questions in an FAQ that should be on our website not long afterwards. So don't stress if you feel like you're missing anything now. So Elizabeth's question is, what if there's a last-minute fixture change? One thing I'll probably point out is our fixtures, we're intending to have them up to date at least once a day. We might be doing it more depending on the grading, depending on how the fixtures graded throughout the season. But probably the main thing to iterate there is, grading's where most of the changes happen. If your game says that it's Team A versus Team B, and Team B for some reason changes to Team C, the payment's still going to go to the organisation. So that's really not the fixture that you see in Play HQ, and you get as like what your fixture is. That's really what you need to follow. If any of the fixture is different, it won't be too big of an issue, but we'll definitely be keeping up to date at least daily at this stage. That's probably the toughest thing in our business is fixtures, and they're always very complex. And Kirsten said, question is, did you say there is an app? Good question. So there's not an app in the sense that there's an iOS or Android application at the moment. You can literally just access our service through, or our web app, we call it, through a website browser on your phone or on your laptop. In the future, we are exploring the options to release this to an iOS and Android app. But right now, the reason it's just in a browser is because everyone can access a browser, and we found it the most accessible way to get our service out there. I'm going to answer one more, and then we're going to continue on. Tim's question is, can anyone join a team? Is there a way to ensure the person connecting to a team is authorized and not an unauthorized person / rando? Rando is slang for random, so random person. So Tim, currently at the moment, everyone has to sign up through our service and to be mobile verified. So that's probably the only limit of security in terms of the authorization. We are exploring codes to essentially have a secure code for the app for the team to connect to. But one thing I'll really clear up is, if you've connected to a team, none of your personal information can be shared with anyone else by someone else. Like, you might have two team managers or two people that help manage a team essentially. If one team manager signs up and another one signs up, they can't see each other's information. They can't see each other's credit cards. They can't see anything of each other. So the only thing they can see is a payment, the payment card that Sarah was showing earlier, which is essentially when the game is and whether it's been paid or not. So that's the only sort of thing we think. We think it's good for visibility and transparency around that, but there's no information being essentially shared in that sense. Okay, let's get more questions. I think we'll move on to the next step, because I think those questions should be answered by number 2 to 3.
Yep. So what I'm going to show, we've got an account that we had set up just with some fake team members, and we've connected to a fake team and fake association, so you can see some matches. So as soon as you've connected to your team and we've got fixture data, you'll be able to see upcoming matches like this. You're always going to see the next 2 upcoming games in your dashboard when you log in. It's the first screen that you see when you log in. Otherwise, you can see all upcoming matches and filter by which ones have unpaid, which ones have been forfeited, etc. So I'm just going to make a match payment for this one, 25th of June. Now, for junior teams, because your fees are variable, the rules that we've got in place here is that the minimum fee needs to be $55. So you can't pay for, well, in this case, it's only $5, but for you, it'll be $55. So you have to pay the minimum amount. You might have 5 regular players and you might have a fill-in player. You can do this just before the game. So as soon as you've paid, it'll automatically refresh in Mornington's dashboard that the staff will have at the game. So it doesn't need to be done 2 days in advance, a day in advance. If you know, great, but often it might not be until sort of just before the game where you might be aware of this. Once you've selected your players here, so you've got 5 regulars and a fill-in this week. It's a very cheap game fee, so you continue to pay. And then this will pop up. It'll just confirm that you're wanting to pay for these 2. Now, I've already saved my card details here, just so I didn't have to enter them tonight. But if you wanted, for the first time you're doing this, you enter the card details, and then there's a little button here that says Save Card Details for Future Payments. So you click that. In this case, I've already got a card saved here, so I'll use that. And then you click Pay. Sometimes you need a little bit patient with processing. But once this is paid, this will automatically update Mornington's dashboard. So they have a dashboard with all the games, all the teams. Once a team has paid Teammo, oh no, got insufficient funds. Let me try it again. I had this issue before because I didn't have money on the card. Sorry, folks. Don't even have $6.85. Oh gosh.
Too many demos, Sarah. We're bleeding you dry.
I do this a lot. So, oh no, what? Okay, sorry. Let me quickly fix this. I don't know how I went through all that money before. So we've got this
is
card.
where we mentioned we're raising venture capital to pay for our demos. That's a joke.
Sorry, hang on a second.
So one thing I can clear
show,
up whilst this is happening, Kylie's question was, is Mornington charged as a per player rather than a flat game sheet fee? What happens if a child plays and then the game is paid for and the child does not play? How are credits or refunds offered? Sarah, you might know the answer to that one better than I.
Oh, yes. Okay. So maybe we'll use this as an example. So once this payment goes through, if I rock up to the game and then my fill-in or maybe one of the regular players, we're meant to have 6 players, but only 5 end up playing. What we've discussed with Mornington is that refund will be issued to you by Mornington at game day. So you won't need to log back into Teammo. We don't currently have that functionality. That's where it gets really messy. So at least for now, the way that process works, if you have overpaid and less players are playing than what you've paid for, that will be refunded on the spot to you via Mornington. If you have an extra player who's meant to be playing, maybe you've got 6 players that you paid for and then a 7th player turns up and you have to pay for them, that will also be done directly through Mornington. Nathan, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's going to be an FPOS payment to remain cashless as much as possible.
Yeah, so it'd be an FPOS payment, but we're more than happy to refund anything on the day or take additional payments just to make the process for everyone.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that worked, and then I just got impatient. So as soon as the payment is made, this is a screen that you see. So you can kind of ignore this reference number. It's more for our back end, but it sort of says the date of when you paid, method, and then what you sort of paid for, and obviously what round. Ignore that 0. That's just the not showing for this demo one, but that's fine. You can download this if you want to, and that will trigger, probably more useful on desktop, but you can save it as a PDF, but you can always access this. So on your dashboard, either on your dashboard, if you go to my dashboard, or if you're going to matches, then you can filter by paid ones. You can always view the receipt here. So as soon as this payment, this has gone through, I won't show you because it will confuse things, but Mornington have a dashboard that they'll have at game day, and they'll see that bench warmers, I think this is bench warmers or turnkeyers, where the turnkeyers have paid, and they've paid for 5 regular players and 1 fill-in. So they'll be able to check the numbers with you at the door. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And am I on? Yeah, sorry, I'm unmuted. Eliza's question is payment only weekly rather than by season? Great question. Currently it is only weekly. However, you can pay multiple weeks in advance if you want to. I can say that we are developing this year the ability to pay things upfront in more of a bulk fashion. So you can essentially have to pay in less transactions. That's happening. That will probably be something that we look at rolling out if needed for Mornington at least later in the season. At the moment it's week by week. and yeah, you can just do as many weeks in advance as the games are loaded, I guess.
Yeah.
If you know you've got that many players locked in each week.
Now, one scenario that we know comes up, look, it's not super frequent, but it does happen occasionally, is if a forfeit has occurred. So maybe your team, the opposition team that you're meant to be playing tomorrow night forfeits, and you've already paid via Teammo. In that scenario, we will be alerted and aware of that on our end, and what we'll do is refund you the fee that you've paid. And the reason we'll be doing that for junior teams rather than senior teams, where we'll transfer the money to next week, is because we know your player numbers might change. So the safest thing for us to do is just to refund the payment. If your opposition team submits a forfeit against you, you will get that refund, and that money usually gets back into your card within sort of 1 business day or so, 1 to 2 max, and you'll get those fees back to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Hopefully? Yeah.
And Stephanie's question there is, as we move on to the third scenario, Sarah, is are there any credit card fees? So what you see there is what you get. So there are no extra fees on top of what is the team sheet fee for Mornington. So if it's a $55 team sheet, what you'll see in your credit card statement is $55.
Yeah.
Cool.
Does that, are there any questions on the making a match payment? So it's basically, you can either go through my dashboard link or click on matches, see the upcoming matches, pay now, and then select the players, continue to pay, put in the card details or use your save details, and then go from there. Hopefully this works this time.
Cool.
Love demos.
Maybe we go into forfeits.
Yep. All right. So either from, we'll go to, matches. I've paid for both of those. Okay. So we're going to try and submit a, sorry, my voice is going, a forfeit for this game. So on the 25th of June. Forfeit's pretty similar to a match payment. The only thing is we ask for a reason for why you're submitting a forfeit, just so Mornington can have that data and use that to inform any of future competition planning. So put in the reason, continue to payment, loads, and then it'd be a pretty similar screen to what you saw before. So you can see here it's forfeit fee, where the turn fee is. So we're the forfeit fee of $7.50. Continue to pay. Hopefully my card has enough funds now. Hopefully this works. Processing. Cool. So the way that this forfeit, once the payment has been made and you see this screen, that means that the forfeit is confirmed on our end. What happens as soon as you see this screen is that we fire off text messages and they go to the team contact of your own team and the opposition team contact as well will receive an SMS. We also will be sending SMS to a number of contacts at Mornington, and they'll also receive an email with the same information about who submitted the walkover, or the forfeit, sorry, the reason, the money, all that kind of stuff. The team contacts who are notified are the same contacts that are listed when you register your team in Play HQ. I believe there's either one primary team contact or maybe two. If there's two, I'm not sure, maybe Nathan, you might be able to answer this, but if there's two team contacts, we'll typically send the SMS to both just so everyone's aware, because sometimes forfeits, I mean, hopefully they don't happen, but if they occur, you want as many people on the team to be aware so you can notify everyone. So that's the forfeit process. There's no need to contact or call Mornington. You can do it all through Teammo, and we handle all the notifications. If you are the opposition team, and someone has submitted a forfeit against you, your SMS will ask you to reply yes to confirm. And so that means we can let Mornington be aware that you've confirmed their forfeit, if that makes sense. But this forfeit's all done, confirmed. I don't think that shows. I think we've already paid for it. I don't know if that will come up actually, because I've messed it up. But Yeah, I don't know either. I think because Andrew Reid paid for it first, then forfeited. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, submitting a forfeit is as straightforward as putting in not enough players, making the payment, and then we handle the notifications. The only thing I guess you need to do is notify your own team members if you're the one submitting the forfeit, but that's kind of goes without saying. How much is a forfeit? Nathan, I believe there's 2 tiers. Is it under 48 hours and over 48 hours?
Yeah,
it's a standard,
so
the same.
it's pretty much the same as last season. So we did make one change though, just with us moving to Teammo. So the junior fee, if it's over 48 hours, is $55. Under is $75. But we've now added in essentially a no-show fee. So this is if they just don't notify at all. So it's the one where the other team's standing there waiting to play, a team hasn't shown up.
Yep.
It doesn't happen much in juniors. It's mainly the seniors where that can occur. But yeah, just to kind of essentially deter people to actually make sure that they do this process properly so that everybody does get notified. But yeah, it's staying essentially the same as last season outside of that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, so the forfeit, we've got 2 tiers of forfeits. So basically, depending on when you're submitting it in terms of time, we'll use that. So if we'll know if you're submitting within 48 hours of the game, or if it's more than 48 hours notice. So you're different, the fee will show depending on that. Cool. Any questions on the forfeit side of things? Basically, once you submit a forfeit, the same thing happens with Mornington. We obviously notify Mornington via email and SMS, but a little forfeit will appear in their dashboard as well, so they know that game's been forfeited or cancelled. What will happen if either team, maybe both teams who are playing that game, or one of the teams has already paid their team fee via Teammo, we will refund that money. So you don't have to worry about needing to contact us about that, because we'll be alerted on that and be able to refund the card that you made the payment on. Cool. Any questions on the forfeits? I mean, hopefully they're not required that frequently, but I mean, they do happen occasionally. So hopefully it's pretty easy enough to do through Teammo. Cool. So we might go on to, we kind of showed it before, but I'll show you how multiple teams can be created. This is, I might go to just desktop view for a change to show you what it looks like as well. You can have as many teams. This is the same one account that I have a password and email for. You can create, if you're managing, I think someone mentioned they manage 4 teams. You can create as many teams as you want to in Teammo. So it's as simple as creating an account, creating a team by clicking on the team there. You'll see a list of all your teams. If you want to switch between teams, you just click on the little 3 dots and then click on the team you want to switch to, so you can see their payments. If you're creating a new team, you just need to, you'll get notified up here. You won't be able to do much until you connect, but you'll just need to connect with Mornington in your case, and it might be the Avengers, and then you select that team. So it's pretty straightforward. You can just switch between teams pretty easily. You can delete teams as well if you've made a mistake, or if you need to edit the team name, you can do that by clicking edit, and you can just change that, edit team, and then you go back to list. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward to manage multiple teams. Yeah, it's a lot of work on your end regardless of Teammo, but yeah, you can manage many teams. And if a club, I know there might be some clubs online tonight, you could have a club account and have all of your club teams here and be able to switch in between teams to see the payments for those teams if you want to do that. Is there a time, so I'm just looking at some questions. Is there a time before the game the payments have to be made? I mean, Nathan, you might be able to answer this. I'm assuming it's if you haven't paid, there's no play, or?
Yeah, so it's pretty much going to work as the exact same process that we previously used. So obviously we always said ideally 10 minutes before the game, but it'll just the same thing that will have already paid for the game through Teammo. you're still then going to, before your game, come to the front to mark off which players are playing. So at that point in time, as long as it's paid by then, you mark off, because we can see on the dashboard, there's your 7 players, you mark off which 7. Teammo doesn't actually collect who is playing. That's what we'll do with that customer service staff at the door. And then same process applies. Last team to mark off their players will take the score sheet out and we play from there. So there's not too much change in that area.
Cool, thank you. Stephanie had a question around, can players make their own, oh sorry, I'll do Natalie first. So can you manage multiple teams in the one account from different associations? Yes, you can. If you have got, yes. Short answer is
So,
yes. If they're connected to Teammo, you might have, we're working with actually a couple of other basketball associations in the area as an example, near Mornington. So if you had a child or managing a team from 2 associations, you would be able to select them by seeing them in the list. Sorry, let's go back to it.
yeah. There's going to be a few more show up in that list over the next week. As you can imagine, we've got lots of associations coming back with sports starting hopefully very soon. If an association isn't in that list in a couple of weeks' time, and you definitely want them to be in that list, let us know, and we can get in touch with them. Sorry, that's separate to this though. And the next question was, can players make their own payment, or do team managers have to pay for everyone? That's a good question, Stephanie. We obviously every team operates differently. Right from this demo, what you can see here is it's really designed for the team manager to pay for to pay the organisation. We're about to go through the next 2 steps, which starts to talk about the team members. But at the moment, you can have multiple team members sort of sign up to the same team and have multiple team managers. It gets a little bit maybe confusing then. But what we would say is currently a team manager is paying via FPOS or however they're paying at the moment. It sort of emulates that, but it's online. So yeah, at the moment, just the team manager. But again, not to promise too much, but we are looking at how we roll out some really cool features in the near future to make that even easier. So team managers can split some money, but Sarah's going to go through the next 2 steps, which will hopefully talk to that.
Cool. Okay. What I'll show now is the last 2 items, and hopefully we can wrap up so you have your evenings back. One is how you can add team members to your Teammo account. And the reason why you would do that is if you want to be using Teammo to collect money from team members. I guess in your case, it'll be the parents of children that are playing, most likely. Now, you don't have to use Teammo to collect money from your parents or team members. It is optional. We've purposely done that from day one because we know that people have multiple different methods of making payments within teams. So some of you might already be using cash. Maybe some of you are doing bank transfer, or maybe clubs are giving you funds. There's probably a million different ways that you could be doing it. But what I'll show you now is how you can add team members to your team. If you go, so in your accounts, you'll see a little manage team. This will be blank unless you start adding team members. I'll just add one here, just so I'll do Samantha. Sam Brown from Mornington. And let me just get a fake mobile number. Cool. Oops, that did not work.
Whilst Sarah's doing that, just to maybe clear that up just a little bit, if I'll say it a second time in a different way, and maybe hopefully make a bit more sense as well. Our app, Teammo, started for team managers. So the very, very first thing that we built was this thing to pester team members to pay back the team manager. Obviously, there's loads of ways you can do this. Like the classic basketball thing is the old plastic pocket with cash in it. There are other things out there, like you could get use your mobile app for your bank to transfer money to your team manager. There are loads of different ways to do it. This is just another option. and it's just another option where you can see it alongside your the rest of your match payments.
Yep.
Now, again, just to maybe make it, I might be confusing things a little bit, but when you have your team members in here, this is very separate to when you're paying for a match. So you still pay your organization. That's probably the key thing here. But if you want to collect money afterwards, it's a nice to have. It's there if you want to use it, but it's very much a relationship between the team manager and the team member. But the organization has no visibility over this stuff at this point in time. It's just for you to, if you want to use it to collect money.
Yep. So you can add team members yourself. Alternatively, you can click share link, and this will share, sorry, you can't really see it here. It shares a little text and a link, but you can copy that and it'll basically, I'll show you what that looks like. And you can send it to your parents or team members and they can put in the details so you don't have to enter yourself. And then once hopefully this work. Sarah, one of these fake numbers. Join team. Cool. And then hopefully, I'll just refresh the page. Hopefully another Sarah Stocks pops up here. So you can just click that button and copy that, and however you communicate with your parents or other team members, you can share that link with them and they can join the team as well. So the reason why I need to add the members, if you are wanting to collect money from your parents or other team members, is that we need to have their information so that we can send them a text message when you are sending a payment request. So that scenario covers off sort of how you add team members to your team. What I might do is show you then the last thing is how to collect money from those team members if you want to, and then we can go through some more questions as well. So basically, if you're wanting to use Teammo to collect money from your team members, you can definitely do that. The way to do that is to go to collect payment. You might want to pay for a few rounds, but you might want to pay for rounds 1 to 3. You might want to request $10 from everyone, just doing a fake amount. Given my bank card didn't have much money on it for. You can select which players you want to make a payment. So if you know that Nathan isn't going to be available for the first three rounds or something, you can just not send anything to him. Once I've selected the players that I want to get a payment from, then I go to collect payment. I will note here, there is a fee that we charge to the team member. So it's not to the team manager. You're never out of pocket as a team manager. And this is purely to cover the cost of processing on our end. But that is the only fee, I guess, that someone from the team would experience. All the other fees around matches and forfeits are absorbed and paid for by the associations. There's no extra cost to you, except for when a team member is requested money from yourself. So we can talk about that a little bit more as well. But you basically collect payment. From your dashboard, you'll see here you've got payment collections. So this is the one I just created, rounds 1 to 3, $10. You can see that all the people that I've selected, they're still unpaid. I'm just going to open up a window that you can't see just to get a link. But essentially right now, text messages have gone out to each of those members. One moment. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this in the window. This might not look much to you because this is a virtual number, but I'll just highlight the bit that matters. I'm one of the team members. So it said, hi Sarah, Sarah's requested a payment of $10.39 for rounds 1 to 3. You can pay by, I've already made a payment once, so that's why it says 953. I'll talk about that in a sec. Or basically there's a link that your team member will be sent. The link is pretty straightforward. It looks like this. You can see that it's $10.39, so that 3.9% fees charged on top of the $10. So you're always going to get the $10 or the amount that you requested. It's as simple as your team member putting in their card details and then ticking terms and conditions. I won't pop these in now, but yeah, they put in their card, their number, debit card or credit card, and then they make that payment. Once that payment is made, that will show up here to say that Sarah has paid, and you'll have that money. That money goes to the bank account that you put in here. So it might be your own bank account. If you're a club, I know there might be unique setups, so maybe it's a club bank account. Depends how you want to do it. But whichever bank account that's nominated, that's where the money that you just requested will go and be deposited. You can send a reminder. So that'll just trigger another SMS to say, just a reminder, make your payment. Once a team member, sorry, let's close some of these windows. Once a team member has made a payment once, so you might be requesting money a few times throughout the season, they can just simply reply with the code given to them. Sorry, this window's a bit ugly, but there's a code that each SMS has. They can just reply using those numbers, and then they'll get a little SMS saying, yep, great, thanks, your payment's been received. So it's very straightforward for a team member to make payments. They don't need to have an account. It's as simple as clicking on the link, making a payment, and then from then on they can pay by text message essentially. So I guess that's the process for how you can get payment collections. Andrew, how long does it take for money, once it's been paid, to get into the bank account?
Really depending on what bank you're with. If you want with one of the major banks with that's connected to the new payments network, then it's super quick. But usually one or two business days at most. So
yeah. I'll make the payment on a separate screen. So
yeah,
don't see card details.
No, that's probably Sarah just brings up that last screen. That's probably the last of the
one moment.
The end-to-end demo. The one thing I've got a couple of messages here from clubs looking at this is going, like I could collect money from obviously multiple teams. So clubs are, I'll just probably clear the club stuff up a little bit. Every club is different. So that's one thing we learned very quickly in this business. Every sports club is very different, and that's fine. So what we have is, and what Sarah's been showing you is, if you are a team manager. So what you see is kind of what we have like at your disposal. We don't have another platform for any clubs. However, there's a lot you can do in the team manager app that you've been shown that might help your club. So if you've got any questions around that, feel free to drop us an email at support@teammo.com.au or Andrew or Sarah at teammo.com.au. And for anyone that's already reached out, I'll definitely be in touch after this call for the clubs. And I'll answer a couple of questions. So Sarah's got that screen up. So
yeah, sorry, I just made the payment. So not that there's much money in the account, so you probably wouldn't be able to spend much online anyway. But I just put the details in another window, so you can see once your team member, if you've requested money from them, or parent, this is the screen that they see, payments been received. If they were to go to that link again that's in the SMS, they'll see the same screen. So there's no way of them paying twice or making an error there. When I go, hopefully I go to the payment collection. So you can see here that Sarah Stocks has been collected there. So you've got one of the 5 payments. Yeah, that's all I wanted to show there, just so you know that. Cool.
Awesome. Now, if anyone's got any last questions or comments or feedback or anything, feel free to chuck it in the group chat. That's really handy. It's been a really good system, actually. But I'll answer Kylie's next one. Do teams automatically roll over from season to season? Or do you need to add teams for every season? So teams that are loaded in will roll over. So say Team Magic is in section 2, and then next season they get bumped up to section 1. They will still have the same identifier in the fixture system. So that when you log in for season 2, the next season, the next matches will be in there. So once you've connected once, you can sort of forget about it after that. However, if it's a new team, then yeah, obviously it's a new connection. And we have another question, which is, when do we have to have the team connected to Teammo to facilitate this? Is there a cutoff at this stage? I would say there's not really a cutoff. You just need to be connected before you can make a payment. So when Mornington will send out a notification saying, hey, everything's loaded in, it's good to go. If you want to sign up now, it's a good time to sign up. That's probably a good time to sign up. But there's no, it's kind of the ball's on your side of the court. Sorry to use a lame analogy at that point. Cool. Any other questions? I think Sarah's done an awesome job. So the Teammo power user is Sarah. So if there's any other questions, ask her why you can.
Yeah. Just to clarify, like, I'm not sure. I'm assuming most of you have a payment method that you've set up within your team. Like, I'm not sure. I guess, I don't know if there's a way to gauge. Maybe I'll switch off share screen for a sec. Maybe people put their hands up if they're collecting money from their team members or parents like weekly, or is it up bulk payments? I know it's going to be different for everyone. Maybe a wave or a hands up if you're collecting regularly, like at least once a week, once a fortnight, just so we get a bit of understanding. Okay, there's a few. Yeah. And then are others asking for money all up front at the start of the season? Hands up. Yeah, okay, it's a bit of a mix. All right, that's cool. Yeah, that last demo of showing you how you can collect money from team members, by no means do you have to do that. We acknowledge there's obviously a fee there that we have to charge at the moment, but Andrew kind of alluded to it. We are looking at some pretty cool options for you to be able to have. I don't want to go into too much detail. We're still sort of exploring it, but hopefully in the future there'll be options around having like a team wallet or funds that can sit there, so you're not having to rely on your own personal cards, potentially like credit cards, to make payments. And that means that we can eliminate money sitting and going straight into bank accounts. So there's some solutions we're looking at there. So it'd be really great to get your feedback sort of as the season starts. But yeah, if you've already got a payment method that works for your team, do that. And then, but if you want to use Teammo, you can do that as well.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Thanks for your feedback.
Yeah, that's great feedback.
There's a question from Brendan. Can you click on a team member to see how much they've paid? It's kind of a collection by collection.
The payment collection screen for who has and hasn't paid, it could be a little bit better. So it's a really easy thing for us to improve. So that's good feedback about I want to be able to click a team member and see how much they've paid. So it's only payment by payment at the moment, but yeah, definitely we could do better in that front.
Yeah.
The other question we had, is there a video of these instructions? Yes. So there will be a video that you can send out to everyone. I think we're recording the screen share of this. So yep, and obviously the
we've got two videos. One video that covers match payments and forfeits, and it's only like a minute long, and it goes through all the steps that I just went through, just a bit more condensed. And we've got a video separate to that around how you can collect money from team members. So all the same stuff. We'll share that with Nathan, so you can have that as well. And then, yeah, if you have any other questions as well throughout the season, just click that little green icon on Intercom, or you can email us. But that little green icon you'll see in your dashboard or on the website, we're pretty onto that pretty quickly within 5-10 minutes.
Okay. I think it's either a cup of tea or a beer time. So thanks for everyone's time. Again, if you do have questions, comments, there's a few channels to contact us on. So yeah, that green icon's a good one. I'm sure there's a thread on Facebook. So if you want to add any comments to the Teammo post on Mornington's Facebook, we'll be looking at that. But yeah, thanks for your time. For those who have reached out for us to get in touch with them after this call, we will do that. So yeah, thanks for getting in touch.
Awesome. Thanks everyone. Appreciate your time.
Cool. Bye.
Okay. Bye.